All right, we're getting ready to do clay. So there's just a couple things you're gonna need. You're gonna need clay. You're gonna need a little bit of water. You're definitely gonna need a cup with a paper towel in it. So let's start with the cup with the paper towel. This is to help you keep your clay from drying out. When clay dries out, it doesn't want to work the way it's supposed to. So what you're gonna do is, you're not gonna need a cup of water, you're just gonna get water from the sink. All you need is enough to make the paper towel wet. Okay, so see, there's not a ton of water in here. A couple drips came out, that's all. I should not see a cup full of water. If I see a cup of water on your table, I'm gonna know you didn't follow directions, and we're gonna have to have a conversation. So please don't have that happen. Just enough water to make this nice and wet, okay? So now we're gonna go back to our clay. So what you're gonna do for this project is you're gonna take this lump of clay and you're gonna start rolling it in your hands, and you're gonna try to make it into a ball. Now, mine's not perfectly spherical. It's not a perfect ball, but it's close enough. So what you want to do now is inspect it. Wherever you see the biggest crack, that's where you're going to use to put your thumb in. So you're going to take your thumb, and then the thumb is going to go right where that crack is. You're going to cup the clay sphere with your palm. So my hand is now a cup. That's helping keep this nice and ball shaped. I'm going to press my thumb in, and I do have to push down kind of hard. And I want to make sure it goes in nice and a good amount, okay? So here's my thumb inside the clay. Here's my thumb, so I'd say about half my thumb is gone. All right, still kind of round on the bottom. So here's the next part. Keep your thumb inside. You're gonna use these fingers out here to pinch. So what's gonna look like inside is you have the clay right here, and these fingers are pushing. Okay, so you're pinching it. And then as you pinch, you turn the clay. Pinch, turn, pinch, turn, pinch, turn. So this is what it's gonna look like on the clay. So I'm pinching, turning, pinching, turning. And then when you start to see some cracks, that's where this guy is gonna come in handy. So you're just gonna dip your fingers. It gets your fingers a little bit damp. And then now you use that moisture to get rid of the cracks. Okay. So I have a pretty thick bottom on this, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to push with my thumb some more while I turn, because I wanna make this a little bit taller and get rid of some of that really thick bottom that it has. Okay, so remember, you have to turn, and you must pinch with your thumb inside. If you're just trying to pinch it and you're not supporting it from the inside, for one, it's not gonna pinch. And for two, if you're pushing, you're gonna put a hole in it. You're gonna change the shape. Okay, so now you should have a nice hole in your clay. Again, if you notice any cracks, you wanna dampen your fingers, rub those cracks away. And now you have a decision to make. Are you going to make a cup that sits up that you can put stuff inside of? Or are you going to make a figure that has the hole on the bottom and the covered part on the top? Okay? If it's a figure, you're pretty much done with this part. If it's a cup, what you need to do is you need to flatten the bottom, because right now it's curved. It's not gonna stand up very well once it's dry, okay? So all you're gonna do is you're gonna take it like this, hold it with both hands, tap, 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 and then now it should be flatter on the bottom. Now, even though I'm tapping it and pushing it, it's not rolling over. So I know that once this dries, it will stand up fine. Again, you only tap it on the bottom if you want it to be a cup, something that you can put things inside of. If you want it to be a figure, you don't need it to be flat on the top unless you just want a flat top to your figure, okay? That's it for that step. All right, guys, we're back, and remember we're working on clay. So earlier you were supposed to decide if you wanted to make something that looked more like a cup and sat up like this, or something that looked more like a figure and sat like this, okay? So if you're doing a figure, yours is gonna come out kind of like this. It's gonna have pieces on it. It's gonna be flat or round on the top, and it's gonna have a hole in the bottom. If you're gonna do a cup, it's gonna go like this, and then all your pieces will come on the sides, okay? So since I already have some examples like this, you're basically doing the same thing we're doing in the video, but yours is going to be open side down, whereas I'm doing mine open side up, all right? So you should already have this made, your pinch pot, because we made it by pinching. It should be nice and flat on the bottom so that it will stand. And if you pinched it correctly, it should be pretty even all the way around. There might be a couple of slightly skinny spots, but you'll notice that none of this is super skinny. It's about the thickness of a pencil all the way around. If it gets too thin, it will make it very, very fragile and easy to break, and we don't want that to happen. Hopefully earlier you pulled off some extra clay, and this is what you're going to use to make all of your features for your zodiac animal. So my zodiac animal is a rat. It's the same as my daughter's, and it's also the same as my mom's. So I'm going to make a rat cup, but my daughter likes to call it a mouse. So if you don't like the idea of being a rat, if you're a rat and you think mouse sounds better, call it a mouse, okay? So here's my cup. Here's my extra clay. I'm going to add a little bit of moisture to this because I don't want it to dry out. And anytime I'm not using this, I'm gonna have an extra paper towel that I'm going to put on top of it. It's gonna be wet, kind of like this one, because it's gonna keep it from drying out. So the first thing I'm gonna do for mine is I wanna make some ears. Again, I'm Year of the Rat, so I am making a rat. So I'm gonna start off with 2 pieces about the same size. And we're just hand modeling now. So all we're doing is we're forming things to the way we want it. And then we're going to be adding it to our vessel that we've created, our pinch pot. Okay? So that's 1 ear. 2 ears. And the reason why I'm making both of them at the same time is because I want them to be about the same size. Okay, so now I'm ready to attach them. What I'm not gonna do is I'm not just gonna stick them on. If I do that, yes, they may stick right now because the clay is wet, but once it dries, the parts where it's attached is not attached well enough. So when it dries, it's probably going to fall off. Sometimes, even when it dries, if it does stay, if you pick it up and then go to set it down, even if you set it down gently, these pieces will fall off if you don't attach them correctly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something called scoring and slipping. So I'm gonna take a tool and I'm going to score. So this is scoring. I'm just putting little marks in the clay. I'm going to figure out where I want it on here. I'm going to score this. So I put some cuts in here. And I am going to use some wet clay. Very wet clay that's more like mud now. Okay, so here's my slip. It's pretty muddy looking. I put that on here, and now I put my finger back here to support this because I don't want to change the shape. And I'm pressing it down, and then I just try to smooth out those extra pieces of clay or cracks or anything that I accidentally made that I don't want to show. Okay, so now my ear is on there. And I'm just gonna do the same thing to the other side. All right, so the rest of this is gonna go the same way. I'm gonna hand model everything, which means I'm making it with my hands. And then I'm gonna score, slip, and attach. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some tools or my fingers to try to put dents in this to give it eyes, okay? So I have longer fingernails, which is going to cause a problem. It's going to dig into my clay where I don't want it to. I'm going to go ahead and try this anyway, and we'll see how it works. I'm going to put my finger back here to support it. I'm going to put my thumb here. I'm going to push. Okay. So now it's got a dent there for one eye. Do the same thing over here. Fingers back there to support. Push. Okay. I made some cracks where I don't want them, so I'm gonna get my fingers a little bit damp.